Don't you love the freedom that getting old gives you? You know, I don't care anymore. So we did the shuffling, and I got to the back of the boat and went to pull down my pants. Well, I had frog togs on. Does anybody know what a frog tog is? Bikers do. They feel like cardboard that somebody's chewed and spit out. They're really weird feeling, but they're water resistant and they're rain resistant and they're wind resistant. So they're really good in inclement weather. So I had on frog tog pants, and they fastened with a drawstring. Well, I also had on a frog tog jacket, a fleece jacket, a sweatshirt, and a regular blouse. I couldn't find that stupid string. So I'm pointing, had to take off my coat and all that. So I finally found the string to the frog togs. Now it was getting everything down. The frog togs came down. I can shimmy, you didn't think I could. Frog togs came down, the jeans came down, the long underwear came down. Finally I had everything at my ankles that needed to be at my ankles. And I sat down on that bucket, and I peed like there was no tomorrow. Front of the boat were singing, "Listen to the rhythm." I didn't care. So of course then I had to reverse the process and get all that stuff back up and everything buttoned and snapped and tied. Finally I was done. I was frankly wore out. And I went and I took my seat behind the older gentleman. About 5-10 minutes later, the old guy in front of me said, "Boy," he said, "you really inspired my bladder." He said, I gotta go. And so, of course, I said, "No problem, we'll just shift again," you know. So we did the dance around the boat, and as he was moving towards the bucket, Corey said, "Make sure you sit down." You know, this boat was on a river with a current, and it was moving, and he said, "I don't trust your aim." So I said, "Make sure you sit down." So he sat down, and surprisingly, none of us sang. And then I got to thinking, well, they sang so they wouldn't hear me tinkle, but he said I inspired his bladder, so, you know, he must have listened to something, you know. So anyways, he did his job and came up and sat down. And he turned to his traveling companion and he said, "I'll tell you one thing." He said, "If I ever go on another one of these fishing trips, I'm wearing Depends." I also had a bathroom experience in Jerusalem. Can you imagine? You go to Jerusalem to see all the historical and religious sites. I got locked in the bathroom. That day we were in the old city of Jerusalem, and we were going to walk the Via Dolorosa. And it was a very emotional day for all of us on this pilgrimage, I guess you'd say. And our Israeli guide gathered us all together and said, "This is a very long walk, will be several hours." And he said, "There are no restrooms on the way. So he said, I suggest that you all use the water closets over here before we go." And it's very important that you stay with the group, because if you get separated, there's no way I'm going to find you. He said, there's too many people, it's too crowded, the streets are twisty-turny. So he said, if you get separated from the group, here's what you do. You ask somebody to show you to one of the city gates. There'll be taxis there. Flag a taxi. Go back to the King David Hotel where we're staying and wait for us to come back. So all the women go into the water closet. Now I walked in there and closed the door, and there was a little knob. And I turned it and it went click. And I pushed against it and it was locked. Good. So I proceeded to do what I needed to do. And I noticed that it was very claustrophobic in there. The stall was very, very narrow. And the door, unlike in America, where the door maybe 2-3 feet from the floor, the door here went clear down, maybe an inch or two from the stone floor. And about 8-9 feet above my head. So, there was, I don't know why I noticed that then, but I did. So I was finished and I heard the other women, coming out of their stalls. So I ran over and I reached for the knob to turn it, and it spun. It spun! There was no click. There was supposed to be a click. So I tried it a few more times, and then I got to thinking, well, is it righty-tighty, lefty-loosey? But it wouldn't turn to the left. So then I thought, well, maybe this is Israel, things are different. So I pushed it up, I pushed it down, I turned, but all it did was spin merrily around, accomplishing nothing. So I heard my friends say, where's Karen? Where's Karen? I said, help, I'm in here, I'm locked in the bathroom, I can't get out. So of course, every single one of those women, 30 or more, told me how to unlock the bathroom door. I was so appreciative. So anyways, I said, I've tried all that, and it's just not opening. And they said, well, the guide's getting ready to leave. You need to get out of there. So they said, we'll get you help. So most of the restrooms over there have bathroom attendants. Most of them are Muslim women who, if you give them a shekel, they'll give you a paper towel. It's a really good deal. And so the next thing I heard was this woman, very heavily accented, who said, Madame, Madame, you must turn the knob. I said, I am turning the knob, but it doesn't catch. There's no click. Madame, Madame, you must turn the knob. What part of, I'm already doing that, don't you understand? The next thing I heard was a man. Madame, Madame, you must turn the knob. I was starting to panic at that point. Really, I was. You know that feeling? I mean, if you're claustrophobic, I was in this little coffin anyways. So I starting to breathe heavy, and I said, wait a second. Panicking's not going to help a thing. So I took a deep breath. Actually, I took a couple. And I bowed my head. And I said, dear God, you know how much I wanted to come to Israel and see all these places that I've read about. And if the stories I've read about you and stories I've believed about you are true, from water. If you can heal the lame, bring sight to the blind, you can surely get this stupid. Although holy, bathroom door open. I took another deep breath and said, "Thank you, God, I appreciate your help." And I reached over and it went click.